Ow, 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 ow. It's the O Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, CW. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to hit that bell on YouTube and subscribe to the podcast on any and all podcasting platforms. We're on the road to WrestleMania, people. They're setting up tons of storylines going into April 1st's two-night WrestleMania extravaganza. Trish Stratus made her return to WWE last night on Raw to help secure the new Women's Tag Team Champions titles, the Lita and Becky Lynch. They have beat Dakota Kai and Io Sky Damage Control for the Women's Championship titles, and they are marching towards WrestleMania. And what I would assume is either a clash with Damage Control again, which would give Bayley and Becky their WrestleMania spot. Well, I guess Becky has already secured her spot with Lita, and now Trish Stratus at their side. So either it's a 3v3, Lita, Trish, and Becky versus Damage Control, or it's Lita and Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler for the women's championships. I can only assume that because of the return of Trish Stratus, it has to be the 3v3, or else why bring back one of the best in the biz? So good on them. I look forward to watching Trish Stratus tear it up in the ring again with her best bud Lita. So that was cool. So that's a nice little WrestleMania thing going on. Logan Paul and Seth Rollins is now officially, underway. They made the call literally yesterday to Logan Paul on Raw. So Seth Rollins is going to take on that guy at WrestleMania for, a potential banger. I'm not even going to lie. I'm not opposed to saying that Logan Paul is very good at this, and for a guy who's super green in the industry and not well liked, he has a natural affinity for pro wrestling. So pairing him up with Seth Rollins, who is another consummate professional, he always puts on a banger and can carry a match really well. I think he can carry Logan Paul to a fantastic match. Now, is Bad Bunny going to run out and do something weird? Maybe. Why did I bring up Bad Bunny? I don't know. But Triple H has a soft spot for both Bad Bunny or not Triple H, but WWE has a soft spot for both of those guys. So maybe they'll be in a program. Maybe they won't. I don't know. But I'm sure Bad Bunny is like itching to do some sort of top rope splash on somebody at WrestleMania. And because it's two nights, they have a lot of time to fill. They could give him a call and say, hey, you want to dive off something? They did get Snoop Dogg to do it. Or did that happen in AEW? I can't really remember. Omos and Brock Lesnar are oddly going to wrestle at WrestleMania. That's such a weird match to make. It feels like a demotion for Brock Lesnar. He's, normally, wrestling for a title or, destroying somebody that's high up on the card, but to put him with Omos, one of the greenest, my goodness, he's just big, right? He doesn't have a lot of movement or he can't carry a match. And Brock Lesnar, for all his, greatness in the ring, I mean, I don't know how well he's going to carry the match with a dude who's, towering over him. So that's such a strange match to give him. And I read online, someone made the observation that Brock Lesnar has been on a losing streak to kind of get Bobby over, to kind of get him over as a weird Austin type anti-hero, because he's doing heel stuff, but then he's also, pandering to the crowd. So it's very strange, but he needs a win. He needs to rack up some wins. And Omos is one of the guys who can, he can look like a threat, but ultimately take an easy pin that Brock Lesnar can, be at WrestleMania, get his paycheck, and go home. Brock Lesnar is still a part-timer, but he's been more active these past couple of months, which has been, great for the business, having him show up in these towns, and I can only assume he's riding around in his own private bus or plane or something, going to these different locations. But that has nothing to do with anything. Brock Lesnar was always used as an attraction, and now he's more week to week, which is, again, strange to see. It hasn't been like that since the early 2000s. So I don't know. It's not going to be a good match. Omos is not going to do well, and honestly, it might be a squash with Brock kind of just decimating him, and I think they're doing it for the spectacle of him F5ing Omos. I mean, they did it back in the day when he F5'd, what's his name, the Big Show. So maybe they're just like, hey, we need another thing like that. Can you do it? And he's like, yeah, I'll throw the big man around for a bit and then go home. So I'm sure that'll be one of the one on the first day of WrestleMania. Strange match. KO is definitely selling his I'm going to take down the bloodline by myself, knowing full well that we're working towards him and Sami Zayn taking on Jimmy and Jay, which I'm looking forward to because it's going to further that narrative of main event Jay kind of turning his back on Roman, not his brother, but Roman, and also potentially setting up a singles run for main event Jay, which I think would be fantastic. They've established themselves now, the Usos, they've established themselves enough that they can kind of branch out on their own, start doing some singles matches. They work well together. I don't think they should break up at all. I think when they're doing singles matches, I think the other brother should be there as like the manager kind of thing, and they kind of trade back and forth and then have their tag team matches. I think that would be amazing. I think putting Jay in a program with, Gunther or whoever's the U.S. title holder at the time of his singles run would be great. I think they both Usos. I think both Usos need to tweak their movesets a bit so that they have kind of like finishing moves on their own. I'm just fantasy booking these two at this point, but they're definitely working towards a program with KO and Sammy. KO is laying it on thick that he doesn't need anybody. He's a lone wolf, and he's going to take him down by himself, and he's really paving that road to get us to be like, yeah, he's really going to do. He's not going to do. He's going to go back to his best friend. They're going to hug at some point, and then April 1st, co-main or main event will be those two versus the Usos, where they will go over. Again, we're working towards WrestleMania where the Bloodline's storyline of being the dominant champs ends. It has to end at WrestleMania. WrestleMania is the end of the story. That is where it ends. Speaking of which, Cody Rhodes made mention that he will be on SmackDown to confront Roman Reigns before their WrestleMania match. And all I can say is, finally. The fact that they said, all right, let's not make Paul Heyman talk directly to Cody Rhodes, and have Cody Rhodes just, acknowledge, no pun intended, Roman Reigns and say, yeah, I'm going to go see him on SmackDown, makes all the sense in the world. It's about time for them to kind of collide. And with SmackDown's viewership trending upwards, still being one of the best, most watched shows on TV on Friday nights, it makes sense for those two to go. It'll draw more people to watch SmackDown on Friday if they know Cody is going to confront Roman Reigns. So I suspect Friday's SmackDown to be, in the words of Sheamus and Drew McIntyre and the Brawling Brutes, it's going to be a banger. So hopefully they find a personal, thread to kind of allow Cody to weasel his way into Roman's mind so that the WrestleMania match has some stakes. Are you guys excited for the 2-night WrestleMania event coming in April? I can't wait. My daughter's excited, even though she doesn't know she is. She totally watched some wrestling with me last night, so that was a very special time for me. Again, I'm rambling. Anyway, thank you for listening. I'll catch you guys next time. And remember, I am your friend.
I'm your friend, but if I ever see you in the ring, I can beat you. Don't you know? Yeah, yeah, yeah.